IG so they can really see what we have to do prior to us getting from IG. What's going
You
on?
guys are behind the scenes right now. This is what we're doing before we
I
start
want to
doing
do the
what we need to do.
bloopers. We got to do the whole podcast bloopers.
So many
Yeah, I know.
already.
Always. I had got something left.
We're all started?
Okay.
Okay. That one, right? That one? Hey, guys. Hi. Welcome to Real Estate Divas on Monday at 7 p.m. Hey.
Oh, yes. With the class. Yes.
We are producing with the Pro
Yes.
with the Pro Tools.
Yes.
With the Pro Tools. We have the producers in the building. So thank you guys for helping us get it together. I promise we are going every week. We're learning how to work all of this. I'm Miss Madison Realty of Special Properties, and to my left we have
Candace. Yes, you guys are so special.
definitely we cannot do this without you guys. I don't know how to do this. You know how to do this?
No.
No,
You know
I
how to
said
do this
at
thing?
all.
Not at all.
I know how to do real estate though.
Yes.
Real estate, though.
Yes.
Go ahead, Jay. Introduce
So,
yourself.
Jaquana here with J Gangs Realty at United Real Estate. How are you today?
Hey. And we're actually waiting for one of our co-guests, Shireen. Co-host. I actually, I'm going to take the blame for this. I gave her the incorrect address for the reason I was driving and trying to make it here. So I want to apologize, but she's on her way. Before we get started, over the weekend, I just want to say Happy Father's Day to all of the amazing dads and men in all of our lives.
Yes,
Just clap for it.
absolutely. Happy Father's Day.
I am definitely a daddy's girl to the fullest. How was your weekend?
It was
Kevin?
good. It was good. I went out with my stepdad and my mom. I took them out. My father, he passed away, but definitely was a daddy's girl when he was alive. But yeah, we had a good time. I like to treat my family. I love my family. I like to take them out and do nice things for them because they've like poured so much into me when I was younger. So it was a good time.
And your
Nice.
blushing.
Yeah.
That sounds like good fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was good. It was good.
My dad actually does live in. I need actually someone to. I'm gonna ask Norman. Hey Norm. Norm. Let me see. Norm.
Sorry,
Norm?
we need Norm on the set.
We're sorry. Norm, can you please just press? I think it says no or yes on my screen. I have a low battery. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
On my Instagram feed, I know
Yeah.
that means I've been working,
Yes.
as Kat
You've been
say.
working.
You
Yes,
know
yes, yes.
that's money calling. But actually, Kat is actually at a recital for her daughter, so she'll definitely be back next week. My dad lives in Alabama. So I wasn't able to see him yesterday, but I talk to my dad all the time. And Father's Day is like Christmas. It's one of my favorite holidays. So happy Father's Day, Dad, and all the wonderful men. JJ.
My weekend was low key as usual.
Low
Working.
key. She'd be like, yeah, I put in
Some-
2 offers this week,
right.
but it was a little low key. You know what I'm
5 minutes
saying?
ago.
Right.
I did do some work, but I also spent some time with my loving husband. Shout out to him and shout out to my dad and my brother, actually, all the great men in my life right now.
You
Awesome.
did post it.
Yeah, I did. Where's the photo?
We sent the photos, and I
But
guess
yeah,
our
so-
producer were busy.
My weekend was great. We went out to eat Saturday. We went out to eat Sunday. We went to a barbecue yesterday.
Oh, y'all was
We did a few
popping.
Yeah,
Y'all
we did
was
a few
lit.
things. A few family moments. My husband was with me yesterday morning while I had to show a few properties in North
Are you
That's
Carolina.
what's up. That's
Yes,
teamwork.
yes,
I like
yes,
that.
yes.
I like
Make the dream work. Where's those claps at, Jay? Where's those claps at?
Hold up. I don't know if we can hear it or not, but I hit the button. Good. But yeah, my weekend was great. It was
It
good.
sounds good. It sounds real good. Also, it was my cousin's grandmother's 90th birthday. So I
Wow.
definitely want to wish her a happy birthday and how amazing it is to be 90.
Right.
Yes,
Like,
it is.
wow.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Mhm.
So we are going to definitely jump right into it. Someone actually brought to my attention in reference to a comment that I made with a lender that I utilized. what I want you guys as our audience to understand is one, I am human. So I speak from my experience, right? So that transactions, plural, that I had with that particular lender provider was unable to close my deal. So it's no different from you going to a restaurant and the food wasn't, good to your taste, and you just said, you know what, I'm not going to utilize them. Or going to another hairdresser, and it's like $1,000 these days to get your hair done. So if you spend that kind of money, or wherever you choose to spend your time and money, or any service, and it doesn't work out to your liking, you're not going to go back. So understand that we are in the business of, I'm going to speak for myself because it was my experience. Understand that I am in the business of a commission-based real estate. So I need the best service for one, me and my family and my buyer. So if you can't close, unfortunately, I am going to have to utilize another bank service. I need guaranteed business to close. I need to ensure at the end of 30 to 45 days, my buyer has a house and my family is able to put food on the table. However, someone else had a different experience. So now I know if a borrower does bring that pre-approval back, now I know 2 more steps to go through so I can ensure that it closed. So understand these are our experiences, and that we're human first. We're not here to bash anyone. So I just wanted to, get
well
that
said.
out.
That was well said. Very
Jesus,
nice.
Yeah.
right? Like, don't cut our throats. Jesus Christ. But today, we are actually going to be talking to our awesome sellers who are considering selling their properties with us, right? So we want to talk to you guys on how to get your house sold for top dollar. First order of business, once we complete an amazing listing presentation like we all do, we bring it all, right? So we want to talk about listing your home. A lot of sellers as well as buyers utilize Zillow like a Zestimate, and it's not always accurate. So we want to have accuracy. Like, say your home is worth $500,000 and Zillow says $1 million. So when we come to you, you are looking at us as if we are incorrect. But we have facts. We're looking at recent solds now. We used to use like 3 months. With the market going so fast, we can use 2 or 3 weeks now of what houses are currently active on the market, what houses are currently under contract, and most importantly, what house is sold, because you can list your house for anything.
Right.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
can list
Absolutely.
your house because it is your house
Right.
for anything. But we want to strike it one time, and we are looking at, in addition to actives, under contracts, and sold, we're looking at how many bedrooms precisely does it have. If you have a 4-bedroom, we're not looking at houses that have 3 bedrooms or 5 bedrooms. We're comparing, as they always say, apples to apples, not apple to oranges. So we have to be precise when we are listing a home so we can ensure that your house is sold. We don't want to overprice it, which we see a lot of that, but to each its own. But I prefer, and I believe, if you list it accurately within, it used to be 30 days, within 7 to 14 days, your house is under contract and it is moving
Easily, yeah.
so easily. You want to add to that, Candace?
No, I completely agree with you. I think when you mentioned Zillow, I think Zillow there's something called a macro and a micro look. When you look at a macro, it's almost like a bird's eye view, right? So they're going to look at all 3 bedroom, 2 baths the same. And as we all know, all 3 bedroom, 2 baths are not the same. Some are going to have a pool, some are going to have garages, some are going to be updated, some are not. So what real estate professionals do is we actually hone in and look at the micro and really, basically look out the details and really compare apples to apples, like you said, versus apples to oranges.
Right.
So, yeah, that's really important.
I like that. I've never actually heard that term. You want to add, Jay?
You guys just said it all. That's basically it. No, seriously, you nailed it. That's basically the whole thing right there in a nutshell.
I think, like, a lot of times, being that we're in this digital age and more like instant gratification. We have a caller. One second.
Sorry.
Did I hit it? I'm sorry.
Hello, you
That
are
was a
on the line.
mistake.
Was it a line?
That
Oh, okay.
was.
Oh, okay, good.
She was a
mistake.
little distracted.
Okay.
She hit in.
Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
continue.
Well, if you do have a question, like, please.
Yes, don't
Please feel
hesitate.
free to call back.
Yeah. Jay, you want to give them the phone number? Or Candace? Candace, want to give the phone number?
Yes. Okay, sure. Call dial 646-233-1302. Again, 646-233-1302.
Yes, give us a call back. I am so sorry. We did not mean to hang up on you.
Sorry.
We're such, again, in like this digital age where a lot of the consumers are hey Shay, a lot of the consumers are they hung up. So maybe it was a false call. Perhaps it was. They'll call back. A lot of times sellers are looking at HGTV. We want you to stop. Like now. For the reason they're servicing a different demographic. So if you were in California and you saw that fix and flip, perhaps that may be, just give us just 1 second, guys. That's the call again.
No, we got it. Don't worry about the game.
Oh, no, should we?
No, you good.
Is
Nope.
it? Nope, not. It's a prank call. Guys, this is a place of business. Stop prank calling us. We ain't selling cookies. We selling houses. So if you do live in California and perhaps that fix and flip was $100,000, but it goes by demographic. So if you in East Orange, well, if you're in, let's just say, New Jersey, we have to focus on comps that's in that particular zip code precisely. So, call one of your professionals. Shireen, what's going on, girl? Glad you. So I did let them know. I did let them know that I was on the move.
I'm not black people late today, okay? I just got lost. I just got lost, guys.
You should have came
Maddie.
to Grillstone. You would have made it right here on time.
Maddie gave her the wrong address. Shireen, we're talking about prior to staging. How do you choose a price for your seller?
Okay, so really it's pretty simple. We go through all the sold properties in and around your neighborhood. Basically, the appraisers really look at the last 3 months. Realtors technically look at the last 6 months to give us a better idea of what to place the property on the market for. So we compare it by bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, lot size. It's kind of detailed. Also, we also have to look at if the property is newly renovated versus something that's lived in and well taken care of, something that may need some work or something that needs a lot of work. So we really have to break it down in categories and look at each aspect of the home in order to figure out what the correct price should be.
Nice.
I definitely
Well said.
agree with that. Like Shireen said 6 months, right? And I said 2 to 3 weeks. Some farms don't have a lot of inventory, so you may have to go back.
as far. That's right.
But the farm I'm in, 2 weeks. This is what has sold.
It varies. It definitely
So
varies.
it does vary per farm, per farm. And farm means territory. We can sell houses anywhere in New Jersey. However, every realtor has a specific, I wouldn't say specific, but we all sort of dedicate our business to 1 or 2 or 3 farms. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yes,
definitely.
but we'll sell your house anywhere. And even if you live in South Jersey, we can refer you to a agent that's within our
Anywhere in the country, really.
Well, depending on which agency that you're with. Well,
No, you can refer out to anybody.
really?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be your same company. Like, Candace and my company, it's a much smaller brokerage. We're only located here in New Jersey,
And
but I
New
have
York.
realtor friends in Florida and Texas. I have people that I know in California. I have a good sense of people in different states. You don't have to refer in-house. Maybe you don't
I
have
prefer
someone.
in-house. Well, we have Alignable, which is a place where you can refer in and out, but it takes a little longer to get my check. So I prefer in-house because I know I can reach out and touch you gently if my check is not on time. Jay, you got my check?
I got
Cannon,
your
you
check,
got my
girl.
check.
Yeah, I got your
check.
check, girl. I ain't playing with your money.
So I've only referred business once or twice in-house. So, after listening to what you said, perhaps I may open up those corridors and relax a little. I just don't want to get
I would say,
Stung.
it really depends. Because let's say it's in an area where you do know, someone that you worked with previously, and they moved outside of the area and they're no longer with your company. You can still refer your business over to them.
I agree with
Yeah.
that. It's someone that you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to
Like
put my
you
I like to
said.
put my clients in the hands of people I like.
Right.
And I know that's going to take care of my people.
I agree. So we definitely told you guys so once we have accepted the listing, how we're gonna price your home. Let's talk about once we have the listing, how are we going to market your business? One of the ways that is preferred, depending on the home, is not price on the home. Some homes are vacant and they may need lovely staging, and some houses are already fully furnished. And I think Jay is going to talk about decluttering. So let's start with staging. What is staging, Shaveen?
So think about it as an interior decorator coming in, taking a look at your place and just placing items and furniture in the correct spot. That I would have to say, not everyone is a visionary. Not everyone can
Absolutely.
see a
True.
blank canvas and know what to do with the awkward little space. You might have a little
Right.
nook over here and you're like, what can I do there?
Yes, very
And
common.
I rely on stagers to come in. They have a vision and they can put the property. It's like going through a magazine and seeing these houses. That's not how the houses are set up in real
I don't
life.
like that.
But it makes it appealing to the eye. Someone can come in and then see, okay, I can see the kids living over here in this little play area. I can see my husband sitting on a couch right here and we're watching TV together. Sometimes you may have a house that's a little bit awkward. You don't know where to put the TV. You don't know where to do this. You don't know where to do that. And a staging can really give you vision. So for my vacant homes, I prefer to have them staged. It actually helps sell the house faster, guys.
Exactly.
And
That's what they say.
a good percentage of time you do get more
Right.
for the property, when it's staged. I've
What's
even had
the-
people ask if they can buy the furniture, and depending on
Yeah.
depending on the
Yeah.
stager, they will
Sell the
give you a
furniture.
price, and you can roll it all into the price of the home.
Yeah.
Wow. What's the typical pricing that one pays for staging?
It really depends. It depends on the stager, and it depends on the size of the home and how many bedrooms and how many areas you want staged. So for instance, we've staged a smaller home. It's 1,500 square feet. Yeah, 1,500 square feet. My stager, she's a little bit pricey, but she does a phenomenal job. And I think my client paid somewhere in the $2,000 range. And then I had a huge house that was like 5,000 square feet. We
Wow.
did 2 bedrooms plus a nook, plus it was basically almost 3 living rooms. It was like it was a really long living room with multiple sitting areas, and then a family room also. And they were about 5,000 and change because it was a lot of furniture that was brought in there. A lot of furniture. And they do the kitchens, the bathrooms. They put shower lady even put soap in there like somebody lives there. She put like
Did you put toilet tissue in there?
Right.
but
I'm telling
it
you.
really depends on the stager. I know there's some stagers that cost a little bit less, and there's stagers that cost even more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
a lot more. I've heard quotes and I'm like, woo. But it sells the house.
Yeah,
it does.
definitely.
And I would like to add to that
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
if there's an empty bedroom, a lot of people can't see the size of the room. They don't know that a queen bed would actually fit in the bedroom, and staging
Yep.
it will show that. It will show that it fits a bed, a queen size bed, and
Right.
it fits dressers as well.
Right.
So staging is always, in my opinion,
Plus.
a great idea
Yeah.
for vacant properties.
You spend
Right.
a little bit more, and you
Yeah.
might end up either A, selling the property faster than it would have sold, or B, you may actually get a little bit more for your money. And either way, you're saving, because if you're an investor, your hold cost does add up.
Yeah.
Yes,
And-
I'm glad you
And
said that too.
costs do go to the seller,
Right.
just so you guys are aware of that.
I was about to ask Shireen who like an owl who pays for staging? Could you express your experience on
Oh, my
you-
clients pay for staging.
your client pays for
Yeah, that
staging?
The sellers.
the seller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Everybody
So
comes on
yeah,
stage.
we've done staging, and I was gonna kind of to kind of piggyback. Staging can be done for properties that are vacant, but we've
Yes,
also
it
done
can.
$1 million properties that were completely occupied. And sometimes it's good because like we always think, and the person, by the way, the person who was listing the home, she was an interior decorator herself. And she was real. I loved her taste and everything like that. But one of the things that the third party person came in, and she, like, there was, for instance, there was like a rug that was made of like cow skin or something
was
like
cow
that,
skin,
right?
yeah.
So she was like, listen, yeah, that looks all good and great, right? But you may have people that come in here who are like against or PETA. No, they're PETA.
PETA.
Right. And she's like,
Right.
you are automatically you're gonna turn people away. So
Right.
I say that to say sometimes it's not always. I mean, with vacant homes, I definitely agree that you should do staging. But even with homes that you're living in, you can do staging as well. Just have someone come in. It's a consultation. They go and they put things in boxes. If they don't belong there, you can rent out a storage unit, and it's just temporary because you're gonna sell the house anyway. But yeah, decluttering and all of that stuff is definitely a thing that I think people should do. So to answer
Absolutely.
your question, in that case, we definitely paid for the stager. I wouldn't always recommend that, to be completely honest. It
You
was
as
just
this realtor. You
as
said?
the realtor.
Okay,
We
okay.
paid for the staging. It was a part of the marketing package along with photography, because as a realtor you have to pay for photography and
Yes.
everything
Yes,
like
you
that.
do.
It's not something that I always recommend, but again, it depends. We talked about price points. It was $1 million listing. So sometimes you want to be able to, and when you're competing against a lot of people, you want to be able to kind of throw in
Absolutely.
little nooks and crannies or whatever to get them to list with you. So
Well, that
it
one
really
was more like a
depends.
consultation.
It was
paid
a
for
consultation, right? It wasn't a
we
full
paid for the
stage.
consultation.
It wasn't, but she did the work
She-
too.
yeah.
She got rid of things and everything like that. So yeah, it wasn't a full $2,000 bill, but it was a fraction of that, and both our client and the buyers were happy. So yeah.
Nice. Very
Did it
nice.
help you sell the house?
It helped us get a lot of offers. That's a completely different conversation that we can have.
We're not gonna relive
Yeah,
that
we won't
conversation.
talk about that now, but it definitely helped the photography and the marketing and everything. Absolutely. Yes.
I have never actually. I do have. You want to shout out your stager? Because listen, we all have different businesses, right? So we all have different lenders that we work with, different teams that we work with. Shireen, you want to shout out your stager?
Yeah, her name is Jackie. I can definitely send out the link to her Facebook, and you guys can definitely take a look at all of that stuff. But she's phenomenal. I mean, I love her. She did a great job.
Ditto, Jackie.
Jackie.
Yeah, I
Jack-
got the recommendation from Shireen, actually.
So, Jackie, if you're watching, hi, Jackie.
Hey, Jackie. How you doing? You want to shout out?
It was the same. I was actually introduced to her by the name of Jacqua, but I hear everyone else calls her Jackie. So, but it's
That's
the
how she
same thing.
introduces
Yeah,
herself.
but same
I think
person.
her
She's-
employees call her Jackie. But
Yeah, it's probably a lot
Her
of
name is
Jacqua.
Jacqua.
It
Okay.
is,
Yeah.
yes.
When I met her, she was like, I'm Jackie. So I'm
Yeah,
like, okay.
I was introduced. Yeah, she's actually she works a lot with investors. I actually met her maybe like 3 years ago, she was working with my investment group. Everyone was highly recommended her. I mean, if you went into a house and you said, listen, this needs to have an 80s feel, she would be able to pull things back right. So she's just not like a normal stager. She will actually, you give her a vision and she will make sure that it's complete. So
life. Nice.
yeah, so yeah, Jacqua or Jackie, whatever.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. I do have a stager, although I have never utilized her services for the reason most of the houses I've came into play did not quite need staging. But her name is The Glass Touch. You can find her on Instagram. I haven't seen her in about a year, but I do have a listing that's sort of, it's not stale, but it's sort of not moving, and I confidently do believe, based on the irregular I would say setup, that perhaps if I did stage it, then perhaps it can sell. But I sold the exact house like this about a year ago, and it went so quickly. So maybe I will bring that to my seller's attention, and we can perhaps go over some numbers, because it does sound a little pricey. But if it's going to get our sellers top dollar, then we are going to perform to ensure that the house is sold at top dollar, because that is what this is about, how we can have your home sold for
There's
top
a number
dollar.
of ways to get it.
It
To
is.
get it there, I would suggest pull it off the market, get it
Mhm.
staged,
Yeah.
redo the pictures, redo all your marketing, let it look like a brand new
A whole
listing,
new
and
house.
Right.
yeah,
But
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
definitely getting the showings. That's another thing too. So we'll talk about that at another time. But it's moving. So one of the ways to actually have top dollar for your home, as we said, is staging. Jay was talking about photography, and of course we all send out just listed cards. Just listed cards are, in my opinion, they're important. They're letting all the neighbors know that this house is for sale. So once you send that under contract, it's like, now the eyes of your farm are open. And
Right.
once you send that just sold, it's hotcakes.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to know, especially if you send out a just sold card, like sold in one day by Candace. Boom. It's that really increases our productivity. Do we have any other
agree.
tips that we want to talk about in reference to the marketing piece?
marketing. No, but I do have one thing to say to the sellers. I understand that you guys live there, and you're there.
I know
you
where
know,
this is going.
but
Know
you
where it's
have to be. You got to remember, this generation of people that we live in, they're on demand people.
are.
Okay, so they want to
Ooh-wee.
come in and they want to see that property today, or
Like,
they want to see
yeah.
it tomorrow. Just be available, even if you have to step outside for 15 minutes, let them walk around. Just try to be available as much as possible, and please keep the home clean. Now that's where I want you guys to watch HGTV, because I got that from the brothers on HGTV.
God,
Every time they
yes.
walked out the house, they said, keep the house clean.
It's true.
Yeah, because
It's true.
It's, again, it goes back to visualizing. If someone comes in and they see the house a little bit messy, and I understand because we live there, we have kids
Sure,
run around, they go crazy and
absolutely.
everything. I understand, but people are like, oh man, this house is gonna be a mess when I buy it, because they can't see past that.
Yeah.
It's true.
But they come in and they see the house completely like sparkling clean. They feel in their heart of heart and head of head that house is going to look like that 24/7,
Yeah.
365 days a week. That's
And
what we need to put in their head.
And
It's
also,
true.
oh, sorry.
No, go.
I was just going to just throw in a little tidbit, because as Shireen was talking, one of the things that I was actually taught was you can also, and we do it for open houses, like, if you're having an open house, like, bake cookies or burn a candle that has a cookie smell or
Scent.
something.
Yes.
The scents are actually
Make it
really,
homely.
really, really important. Not on, you can have a clean house, which is great, but a clean house that smells awesome. I mean, I've had so many clients, they you wouldn't think about it, but people fall in love with a house that
true.
smells good,
Right.
It's true.
It's all about the
Aromatherapy.
sensory.
It is
And-
aromatherapy.
Yeah, and just about the
Yeah.
sensory especially. So, I would advise that too. Throw in a little Glade plug-in or something like that.
They work.
Before you leave the house, before a showing, that can help a lot too.
I did actually learn that trick from a realtor in this location in Plainfield. So each Sunday when she has an open house, she will bake cookies.
Yeah.
So I tried that.
I'm lazy.
Now
I burn candles.
No, burn the candle
I
if you
remember I
can't cook.
tried
If you're not
that.
Betty Crocker,
I think you did good.
it's instead of the cookies.
are those the cookies you brought last week? Girl.
Those
Girl.
cookies look amazing.
They looked amazing.
I bought those.
Oh,
But for
Oh, so you'll
one of
bake
the
for
house.
your house, hoping it, but you won't
I
bake for
won't bake
us.
for us.
That's messed up.
But I baked them, but not to be edible. You know, just
you just wanted the scent.
for the
Yeah.
scent and aroma. Now
To make
we
it-
all know Maddie is not the best. I'm learning each and every day. When girls took home ec, I took shop. There you go.
Oh, that's
period.
cool. That's
So, but I definitely agree with the scent. I think buyers do smell with their scent, and if you don't want to bake cookies, there's like a little fudge pop that you can get from Walmart. It's $2.50, and if you put that bad boy in the oven, it smells good. So that's a really good one. So we're talking about staging, scents, our premier marketing. What else can we say? And being available, I think is important. Availability. We want to also talk about now that your house is smelling good, is looking good, is listed
decluttered.
correctly, is
Right.
Can you please hit on that, Jay? Because
I think Candace hit on it
Oh,
a
we
little
did.
bit already.
Did we talk about the Zillow pricing?
We did.
Zestimate?
Yeah,
Oh,
we did
thank
that,
God.
but the
Because
did.
decluttering,
We did.
Candace already touched on that subject
Oh, I'm
already, so
sorry.
I don't need to dig into it any deeper because she hit it right on the point with it. So
I think also too, guys. And I'm not stabbing. Remember, I'm just when you guys take professional photography pictures, let's not try to have the seller families in those pictures. you see it all the time. Like you see their cars, you see
family portraits.
no, we're not selling the buyers. I mean the sellers. We're selling the home. So
Yeah.
pictures of the home are always preferred.
Yeah, please take down your wedding photos.
Yes.
I ask
Any
my
personal
clients as much
photos.
as possible to take down the personal photos.
Yeah, personal photos.
You want the
Yeah.
buyer to see themselves living there, not you.
It's
Exactly.
true. And you
Right.
might want to empty out that medicine cabinet. Buyers are nosy, but that's okay. Only because they're opening up space to see what can fit, and you just never know.
That's actually a really good
that was
thing.
that was a
Yeah.
safety tip that I've learned.
Oh.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm just a messenger. But
Right.
after we have all these fantastic things, you got your marketing, smelling good, looking good. Now we want to talk about how to choose the right borrower for your home. Candace is going to kick that off. What's going on, Candace? Miss Custom Fitted is what they call her.
Well, I'm gonna keep it really short because I know we're running out of time. But whenever you receive an offer, you really want to focus on, I would say, like 5 major things. The first one is going to be, of course, the offer price. That's like kind of the most important, but not always. And I'm going to explain why. The second thing you want to do is focus on the closing date. You can have a really high offer price, but the person may not want to close until another 6 months. It depends. It depends. If you have time, then hey, I would say accept it. But if not, like most people don't, I would, choose the one that's going to have the nearest closing date. The other option is the inspection contingencies, as well as the financing contingencies. And then lastly, people throw in other contingencies like, I have to sell a house before, or, my kids have to graduate college before I want to, all type. No, but you'll be really surprised, like, because this business is really creative. So, and I see attorneys throw things all the time, and when they're on my side, I love it. But when they're on the other side, I'm like, are you kidding me? Did you really just throw in that the poodle needs to, you know what I mean? But people do it, right? So you always have to like look at everything, like as a whole. I know some people, they won't accept like an FHA at all. You know, it's just like, and it's not always, FHA is not always bad, you know.
Right.
It's actually not.
It's
Don't
not
discriminate.
bad at all. Yeah, definitely don't discriminate.
Yes.
And so
I
you
like
just
that.
you just have to look at the offer as a whole. Don't just, you know, hone in on one thing. Look at all of the different components to the offer.
I totally agree. So it's not just the price; it's the terms.
The
that's
terms,
handed.
absolutely.
And I think also when, you know, because we priced your house so perfectly and we marketed the hell out of it, so we have like a stack of offers.
Absolutely.
I think as listing agents, that it's important to be nice to those agents that who offers you didn't select, because it may fall through. We're just gonna send this prank caller to end. Okay, thanks, Pat. Because a lot of times, you know, deals fall apart. We hope that our deals make it, but there's nothing more, you know, embarrassing saying, "Oh, our offer is," you know, our seller chose an offer. And now you have to go back to those same people and say, "Are you interested in?"
Yeah.
Because not like no,
Yeah.
based on your demeanor. So be nice.
I agree.
Be nice.
I agree.
Jay,
I
you want to
agree.
add?
Add to the
How
Just accept
The
it.
seller.
To
how
accept
to
an
accept the
offer.
offers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree with what you guys both said. What you guys both said. And I also think that FHA is not a bad loan to accept an
Absolutely.
offer from,
No,
because
absolutely.
sometimes a buyer, you know, can be putting down 20% on an FHA loan, but going FHA just to get a better interest rate.
Yes.
Boom.
That's key.
So-
Do you
Yes.
have it? Boom.
Yeah,
And
but
right
I
now,
would
rates
like
are low. You
to-
said.
I'm sorry.
Didn't you send me an email or text about
Yes.
this?
Yes, I did.
Can
But
you
I
tell
would
them
like-
that?
I would like to. About.
No. Well, them two. Remember,
Like about quick
service.
Which
no,
one? Because we
didn't you
talked a
have-
lot about.
You sent me. I think we were talking about how interest rates were going down, and I said,
Oh yes,
Yeah.
interest rates have gone down, but I think we should touch on that when the lender
lenders
is
are
here.
here, so we
yeah,
get
because
some
interest
accuracy.
rates
They
have
fluctuate?
gone
Okay.
down. But I would like to answer
And some
a
rules have
question
changed too.
that one of my buyers had DM'd me, who obviously wasn't watching me last week when we were talking about buyers. But I'm going to answer his question. He wants to know, he's looking to purchase a home and wants to know what is the very first thing he needs to do. So I'll answer that for you live, just so if anyone else have that question. The first thing you need to do is get pre-approved for a mortgage. Once you're pre-approved, contact me. And then we'll talk about getting you into the perfect home. Buyer.
I want to swing back to that after the after Shireen answers, because I just feel like no matter how many times we say with a smile, some people they do forget. Shireen, do you want to add on how can our sellers accept an offer?
Well, actually, I want to tell you about a scenario that I think we've all had multiple times as listing agent, where I would say sellers want to overprice, and then even when they get a decent price, they still want to be a little bit greedy.
Yeah, I've
on that.
experienced Sure.
And I'm not putting people down. You have to understand the market, and we're trying to educate you guys as best as possible. We're not going to stay. Listen, there's never a day that any lady sitting here or any other realtor is going to want to sell a property for less money, because the same way you get less, we get less. You understand what I'm saying? So we definitely want to sell it for a top dollar. But, and I can tell you about a scenario that's happening right now. We put a property on the market at the top of the market, right? That we priced it at the top of the market. I wasn't too sure just because of location. Candace has been by the house just because of location and a couple other problems that I, saw, that I didn't think we were going to get a full I believed we were going to get a full price offer, but not over. A gentleman came in, and there's always a buyer for a house. A gentleman came in. He's in a little bit of a desperate situation. He needs to purchase a home within the next 30 days, and he needs to be in that home within the next 30 days. He is cash. Okay?
There's a lot of cash going around.
He
Don't
is
you
a-
guys agree? Like,
I don't know where these people get
everyone's
their
having
money
cash.
from. But he's a cash offer. This house is very convenient for him because he can literally walk out the door, jump on the bus, and he'll be in New York. So it's perfect for him. He put in an offer at asking. My client is like, well, I want to wait until an open house on Sunday. We didn't have the open house the last Sunday because it was going to rain and it was also Father's Day. He's like, let's wait. I was like, okay, I understand that, because we also had, you know, a couple other offers at, you know, asking, but this is the best one, obviously, because it's cash. The guy calls me while I'm late coming here because I'm lost, and he goes, listen, tell your seller, I'll go up 10,000, close in less than 30 days, but I need this contract signed. And my seller is, and I'm flabbergasted that he wants to go up with no contingency. We talked about that C word.
So he wants this house.
He wants the house.
He needs it.
And my seller's like,
motivated.
I still want to wait until the open house. Now, Candace and I have had this issue where people wanted to wait and wait. And I've had other open houses, other listings where people want to wait. And guess what?
The buyer disappears.
The buyer disappears. We don't get an offer as high. I remember one time the house came in, it didn't even appraise at what we end up selling it for, and he had to end up going down, and he let a cash buyer at $15,000 less than asking walk away. He ended up getting $30,000 less, and the house stayed on the market for an extra 2 months. You guys have to pay attention when you have a buyer who really wants that house. To the hell with everyone else. Negotiate with that buyer. And I wish my seller was listening right now, because I already preached it to him, but I'm preaching it again. Negotiate with who you have, especially a cash buyer.
What they say, a bird in your hand is better than come on
Two in
now,
the
old
bush.
folks. There you go.
Yeah.
Or too cool, you lose.
Yeah, it's important because yes, we are in a seller's market, but we can't be greedy, and especially and I don't want to use the word, but you just like Sharmeen said, if you have a cash, like no contingencies. Remember, we talked about the terms. This person, he had a offer over asking. The terms were great. What else,
Perfect buyer.
And
some sellers let these people go, and then they end up,
and you end up losing because you have carrying costs. You have so many different things. You could have cashed out and then had your next house or your next investment by the time, it's just like timing is everything, so it's really important. I hope you get that deal going. I hope that's tough.
Wait, so did your seller, he accepted that offer for less than $30,000, so how does he feel?
This was the beginning of last year.
Okay.
Oh, they were pissed.
Yeah.
They were pissed. Because they asked me after like another month on the market where they were getting no offers. They asked if I can reach back out. I did reach back out. He bought another house, cash, and the person was happy. It sat on the market for a little while longer, and then we finally got an offer. It didn't appraise. Again, because they now had a mortgage, right? It didn't appraise, and they lost out on a lot of money. Plus, like Candace said, holding costs, carrying costs, those things built in. They didn't lose money on the deal, but they could have probably made an extra $40,000.
Yeah, right.
That's some people yearly income, $40,000. Yeah, they lost that.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we definitely hope as sellers, because we understand that it is a very competitive seller's market. So we hope that our experience and tidbits were helpful to you, sellers and our new sellers. But we're going to get into some questions that people have been burning up for. Jay, you want to start with yours?
I just gave my question that I had, the one that I wanted to answer instantaneously anyway. Because it's like, where were you last week?
But they always do that, though.
They do. And it's fine. It's fine.
Yes.
Because that's what we're here for, to answer any questions that you have or, concerns.
Absolutely. Someone asked, is there a fee? They said, what is your fee? It's $1 billion. Right. So you gonna work with the kid or no? Yeah. No. As a buyer? As a buyer, there is absolutely no cost and I'm going to repeat, there is absolutely no cost when you are working with a realtor on the buy side, meaning we are helping you purchase the home. There is no fee for the reason the seller pays us at closing. So for the sellers, there's a different cost, for working with us. But for a buyer, there is no cost. And I think they have perhaps realtors, your license on the line, y'all better quit. That's all I have to say. Stop charging these buyers to work with you guys, because they come to us and they're thinking that there's a fee. To each his own, but there's no fee on the buy side.
Can I touch on that really
yes.
quick? Well, so there is a typical, I want to say, rate that normally happens. Technically, right, or back in the day, most buyer's agent were paid 3% of the listing costs, because the seller's agent negotiates their fees with the buyer, with the seller. Then they end up splitting their commission with us. That's how we get paid. So technically the seller isn't even paying us. The seller's agent is paying us out of their pockets. Out of, they're giving us supposed to be half of what they're getting, right? There are companies nowadays that are putting out 1% and 2% and stuff like that. So I understand that there are agents out there that still would like their 3%, and they have that discussion, especially some people that give out the buyer's agreement, where they will say, in order for me to sell work with you, I'm to be paid 3%. So you'd have to come up if I'm not getting my full 3%. Now that's not illegal. That's something that they're allowed to do. What I don't like is when agents tell them that, in order to show them houses, which I've had an agent.
Like a showing fee?
Yes.
Child.
Yes. And I'm like, who told you that? Like, I would never charge. I don't even charge. I take whatever is given to me.
Right.
The only other time that I can say that I would ask for a fee from my buyers is if it's a for sale by owner situation and they're just not paying. Because then I'm sorry, I love my job, but I'm not working for free.
I think it depends. Like, if it's a I wouldn't say residential. I would say a traditional buyer, no. But on the investment side, perhaps yes, because a lot of times it's 1%, 1.5, or I don't know, sometimes 2%. So I think if you're working with an investor, then it can be like acceptable. But like a traditional home, first time home buyer, it was hard enough for us to get it together. Investors, yes. Traditional buyers, for me, is a no. Ken, you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I know people do it, and I'm not going to say it's a right or wrong way. But a lot of people, they don't. You know your client at the end of the day,
you
right?
Know your client.
So if you know your client can afford it, or they will be okay with it, you've had that discussion with them, then by all means. But there are some people who aren't okay with it, and I would not hold that person back from a property because I'm not getting the extra 2%. But it depends. It's a really touchy subject.
It is. That's a discussion for you and your buyer.
Yeah,
I've had buyers
you know your buyer.
That'd be like, no, you did a good job and you need to get paid.
Yes.
I've had buyers that have said that. They're like, so what are you getting paid? And we're like, well, we're getting paid. They're offering 2%. They were like, don't you normally get 3%? And we've had that discussion, and I've had them up my fees because they value what I've done for them.
Yeah.
Some people don't
I
understand. We work hard. Ladies, can we say amen to that?
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't clap things at.
Get it
yes, we work. We do. So to our future buyers and sellers and future realtors and future friends, we definitely look forward to helping you in every way that we can. Before we go, our last 1 minute, what's coming up for you, Kansas, this week?
Oh, God.
Wait, hold on. Candace, what you buying this week?
Yeah, I'm about to say.
What you buying this week?
I'm looking at a place in East Orange, but honestly, I've been in City Hall. I feel like City Hall has been my best friend for the past week.
Really?
I have to get up
sure?
sometimes 8 o'clock in the morning just to catch these people. I mean,
You need
and,
to woo
and I'm
City Hall.
Yeah, huh?
Woo them.
That's real
No,
nice.
I know. Oh no,
Absolutely.
absolutely. You absolutely
It's-
have to,
it's
but you
the
got to
sad
meet them
truth.
sometimes.
It's the
You
sad
do.
truth.
You got to meet them.
Yeah.
You can't stroll in on flip flops and you know
No.
on a
Thank you.
noon and city. You know you got to come early and you got to come correct. So yeah, that's what I have going on. Just a lot of meetings at City Hall this week.
Well, I'm just happy that you're in my hometown of East Orange, and
Yes.
I totally agree with Candace. Guys, don't forget, at the end of the day, you are a professional, right? So when I go to City Hall, I'm always dressed up because you never know, your next client may be there. So yes, I don't have anything coming up this week, but I will be doing some rebranding this week, so I'm very excited about that. Jay, what's going on with you?
Congratulations.
Thank you, girl.
Congratulations.
What's going on with you this week, Jay?
This week I'll be working. On Friday I'll be hitting up AC 9
Oh,
Rap event.
yes.
As always, knowledge is king. It's always good to learn
Yes.
some new stuff. So I'll be
Yes.
doing that.
We will be in there.
Yes, we
Oh,
will.
yes.
Next time.
Yeah, so that's what I got going on aside from my traditional showings. Today was a follow-up day for me, and I have a listing appointment tomorrow.
Oh!
So,
Put a
yeah.
clap thing down.
Yeah.
Good
so
luck.
That's what my week is looking like. It's looking bright.
Good.
I like that.
Good,
that.
good.
Shireen, what's going on with you this week, darling?
Well, hopefully this Sunday I won't have to have that open house and my client will take the cash off. And you know what's funny? That open house does more benefits for us as realtors than it
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
does for the listing
Yes, it
agent.
does.
And that's probably not something I should be telling you guys, but it's the truth.
It is the truth.
Yeah.
And I actually just left a house that is in Teaneck that a wholesaler has that I'm thinking about purchasing, guys.
Nice.
It needs a lot of work, and I will if I
That's the
do
fun
get
part
it.
about it, though.
It is because my creativity is just like, ooh, I could do this and I could do
That's
that.
right, yeah.
But I will, if I do end up purchasing this one or whichever one I do purchase, because I am looking for a property. I will be documenting it step by step.
I like that. They need to see
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
and
need to
bring
see the
us some
trials
clips.
and tribulations.
Yeah, it's not always cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will be documenting it and letting you guys come on the journey with me with all this craziness that goes on in real estate.
Yeah.
That's what this
a lot
platform
of
is
craziness.
for. Well, guys, we definitely look forward to seeing you next week on the Real Estate Divas. At what time?
7
7 p.m.
Eastern Standard Time.
for all you California people.
Oh, guys, have a wonderful evening, guys.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes.
I did have people coming in, like tuning in from Cali too.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't even think that it was 4 o'clock for them. And
This one? Okay.
Just click